The sequence of ignition begins. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 5, and 0. Take off. We are taking off. Hi everyone, this is the Investor in Digital Assets. Before we begin, I would want to remind you that my sponsors are hosting their AI conference in San Jose on February 18th. The day before, Fuentes is hosting an XRP meetup outside, thus it need to be captivating. You are welcome. To go register, I've included a link at the top of this video's description. It's where I'm hoping to meet Tim Draper. I have yet to had the opportunity to meet him. It ought to be fascinating. All of the executive links will be available as well. XRP-Vegas.com as well. You can acquire a discounted accommodation at the MGM Grand by going there to pick up your discounted tickets. Out for 108 days. Time goes by quickly. With each and every ticket sold, this item is breaking records every day. We're surpassing last year's record by a greater margin. It is going to be enormous. Ripple is also involved. All right, market value. 3.32 trillion XRP is performing admirably. 256 has increased by 4% over the past day. Bitcoin is returning to its 1,000,000 mark. It is evident that the market is currently being pumped. It's lovely to observe. Before I show you what I'm going to show you, I want to remind everyone about Swell 2022 in London. This is Brad Garlinghouse and Nick Burafato. That's Stuart Alderati and Nick Burafato. Nick Burafato is one of those individuals who takes excellent notes, as I've mentioned before. He is a type A man if he speaks to someone. Important. To ensure he doesn't forget, he heads straight to a table and writes down the bullet points of what he just did. Here, he did just that. When he left the link to, I apologize, I don't have the link to, the London Ripple Swell 2022, he said this. All right, let me go over my notes from the day with you. I'm sorry, but it's really noisy in here. First of all, Brad Garlinghouse was really confident when we met in person. There is a remarkable sense of confidence about him. Brad is even more self-assured now than he was when we first met in Singapore in 2019. He stated unequivocally that provided they can obtain clarity over XRP, they are prepared to reach a settlement with the. He responded in the affirmative when I asked if American businesses were watching from the sidelines and would enter the fray as soon as things became clear. Specifically, he mentioned Bank of America. He claimed that Bank of America, a major partner of Ripple, stands to benefit greatly from the settlement since it will provide them a significant competitive edge over rivals through the use of ODL in the market. Brad is therefore quite bullish. When asked what drives him each day, Brad simply replied, I want to make a difference in the world. Brad shares the same philosophies as GIPTA, as we have heard. That was great then. I had a one-on-one meeting with, that was Nick Burafato, all right? Then fast forward to the present. I don't believe I do, but we have this man named Nick Strzelecki who works as a financial planner. I'm not sure where he works though. In the West, okay, whatever. The reason the XRP community is interested in this is that we have long been aware of Bank of America's partnership with Ripple. This individual is the one who kept coming on and discussing how Ripple was working with them. The patents have long been known to us. There have been many rumors, but no one has ever publicly discussed it, particularly in mainstream media, even though Ripple may have brought it up a few times in the past or in recent years. Upon hearing that, you should be aware that there is a distinction between using XRP and Ripple. And I don't know, we're sort of in our own little bubble with the XRP community a lot of the time. Therefore, when someone speaking from outside who isn't here every day does so, they frequently might not grasp some of the details exactly as we do. Thus, I am interviewing them for that reason. He clearly wants to find out, so I'm going to do that. If you watch every video, it's clear that someone informed him about Bank of America's usage of Ripple for internal transactions. Or Treasury. I want to drill, so I'm going to drill down on it. Is that only Ripple? Is it XRP? However, you still find what he's saying fascinating, I mean. In addition, the man understands Bitcoin. Simply pay attention. Indeed, we do. The other day, you reported about how Bank of America uses XRP for all of its internal transactions. If you would explain, yes, therefore, there is no doubt that Bank of America has been using or has used XRP internally. I said 100%. Did I mean that or was it a percentage? I don't know, but they were using and executing it successfully. Thus, I think they are leaders in this blockchain field. However, it was being used by Bank of America for hundreds of cross-border blockchain patents, not only on Ripple, but also on other things. Therefore, I believe that they are a leader worth keeping an eye on in this field. But I think if we look at Ripple and comprehend what has been taking place, it's crucial, in my opinion, to acknowledge that many well-known people have been out there stating that this is the most bizarre thing ever. We will never engage in cryptocurrency. It sounds as though it was introduced in 1993. Oh, don't ever purchase anything from there, and now we're stuck on Amazon or something with our phones in our pockets. The point is that, in my opinion, we're still in the early phases, and the banks are currently moving swiftly. Being assigned, they are currently forming connections on a Ripple network, since they understand where the future lies. The main line is that in the case of some tokens, blockchains, and so on, it's not merely a transitory phase. Yes, when we consider the future, this is it. The difference between money that began as paper, and then we figured out how to make it electronic, and then we figured out how to adapt it to life is different. You know? Simply said, the system uses a distinct procedure. Therefore, I believe that we should recognize that this is about more than simply money when we look at the world. There are various items in the actual world that will eventually be tokenized. You can transact on the Ripple network in a highly efficient manner that doesn't just shut down at 5 p.m. and doesn't cost a fortune to transmit something. It's incredibly inexpensive. Therefore, banks are aware of this and, thank you indeed, and I appreciate you taking care of that. I was going to inquire, well, what are the advantages of this? And you simply brought up one. What are the additional benefits? I'll tell you something immediately, though, and that is that I'm working on an exchange bank at the moment. I won't get into specifics. With all these consultants and discussions about things like, oh, let's put on the Ripple network. What is my response? The Ripple network should be activated.